She doesn't like things over her head, so.
She does not?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. And that's Ellis, right?
Yes, Ellis.
Okay.
So if you were to like pick up a pillow and go like this, you can
Okay. So
would
kind of
try.
dodgy with stuff going over
Yeah.
her head.
or if you move anything like close, if I were to like pick up this stool and go around her, she would run.
Okay. I'll move this over here. And then I'm going to sit down off to the side here. Now, there's a couple of different ways I've done this. Is it okay if I sit here?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a couple of different ways I've done this. Me sitting down is always an invitation, like she's come over there, so it makes it kind of less stressful for the dogs to have me sitting down. I used to go about this, and I would start off with putting on a leash, and I would handle the dog from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've found that it's a lot less invasive on the dog mentally if we just let the owner start with the leash.
Okay.
A lot of dogs, me having a leash in itself is, they're just like, I don't know you. Not to mention they don't care for my praise or attention like they will yours.
Yeah.
So I can't use it much of a payment.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, we'll have you start, or either one of you that'd like to. But yeah, if you want to grab a leash, and then if you have any food of hers that and if she doesn't take the food, no problem.
Okay.
The point of it is for me to show you when I would be presenting the food.
Okay. You want to do the
Do you want treats or actual food?
Oh, if you have treats, that'll work great actually.
What are we looking for again?
Leash and treats. That's me.
You're supposed to be peeing with him.
Yeah, that's literally me.
I'm gonna try to let him do all the training because they're obviously attached to me.
Okay. Well, I think that's good. We'll kind of rip the
Especially
Band-Aid
with
off.
the baby coming out, probably more the baby than
Yes.
them. So
It's good to get them used to being with him.
yes.
That sounds great.
Come on, Ellis.
Now, how old is Ellis?
Ellis is 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both two.
And y'all have had both of them,
At the
same
same
litter.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Since they were 8 weeks.
Yeah. No, they're actually 12 weeks now.
Okay. Perfect.
They were the last 2 when we found them. We heard
Okay.
about them. And he just couldn't leave without both of them.
Yeah. Well, that's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
He has a treat on him.
So the first thing we'll be doing is I would take the treats and kind of break them up into pretty small pieces so that we can ration using them throughout the session and she doesn't get full as fast.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal in the beginning here is to introduce her to the concept of leash pressure and to the concept of marker training.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, turning this leash pressure off, and then when she does that, we're going to mark it with the word yes.
Okay.
We want her to understand over time that when she hears this word yes, she's about to be paid. Then when we set her up into going into that down later and getting on the place, and we say yes, she goes, oh my goodness, something good has just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of relay that to her as early as possible. So what we'll do, and I'll kind of show you this first, make sure I've got this off to the side here. What we'll do is, I'm going to be you, I'll just mirror what you'd be doing. I've got her on the leash, and I kind of get an idea from here what side I want each dog on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a preference, let's say this dog's going to be on the left. I train a lot of dogs on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
I just get in the habit of having leash in my left hand. And a lot of times the dog's going to get used to being on this side anyway. Then when we come in and teach the heel in a little bit, they'll be like, oh, I've been over here anyway, nothing new.
Okay.
So if I've got them on the left, I have my rewards in my right hand or in my pocket, and then I've got the leash. What we'll do in the beginning is, let's say you get her on the leash and you just kind of walk her around. If she won't get away from you, I'll take a piece of treat and put it on the floor here, and then I'll back away while she's eating it. Now that I'm away from her, I'm just going to give a little tug on the leash. As soon as I tug on the leash and she feels that and comes to me, I'll just go, yes, and I'll present the reward.
Yeah, she's
That's
not
awesome.
by her own attention.
That's all right, I love it. So ultimately, your goal is getting her facing away from you, little pressure on the leash, and you just want nice level pressure. You're pulling on it, and as soon as she starts to come to the pressure, you'll turn the pressure off and you'll go, yes, and reward.
Okay.
And that's it. Your goal is to get to a point where it's taking less and less pressure, and you're literally just going, and she's giving that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to layer that into the heel.
Okay.
Feel that pressure when you move out of this position, kind of thing.
Okay.
Ask any questions as you have them. I talk like this the whole time.
Yes.
You don't have to remember all this. 'Cause we're
It's
recording.
recording,
So I don't feel like a pamphlet's hands-on enough. So I feel like just being able to refer to a video. Oh, what did he say there? 10 seconds back.
Yeah.
You know? Any
So-
questions so far?
My question is, so they're both pretty good on leashes. Like if you pull it, they'll just go wherever you
Then
want
that is
them to go?
fantastic.
Okay.
That will make our job even easier
Okay.
because what we're going to do from here is take the leash and do it in an upward direction and get them to understand now leash pressure turning off, up and down.
Okay.
So right now they understand it this way. Then we want them to understand how to do it this way. Reason being is because eventually we're going to say sit, and at some point they're like, I don't feel like it. We need to have a means of, well, you kind of have to.
Okay.
We take the leash and guide them into the sit at that point.
Okay.
So we make it a fun thing for now.
Gotcha.
She looks motivated by the treats, which is fantastic.
Well, she hasn't really been eating. We've been putting their food inside the crate,
Good for
and
you.
she won't go in.
That's so common. That's all right. That's so common.
So we
She'll
made her
get
put
there.
like chicken in there, and she was just whining and circling and would just not go in.
Oh yeah, she'll go in there. It's a very patient game.
And I'm
I've
like,
played that game many
"Alright,
times.
well."
The nice kennels though, that should be literally perfect, and plenty of space for them in those kennels.
Yeah, that was the biggest
Those are like the
thing.
airline kennels they use
Well,
there.
that's what it is, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were looking at the other crates, but they were just too small for this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seriously, no, I agree.
I'm like, yeah, she's not gonna fit.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you want to try walking?
Sure, we can. We want to do anything, or?
Yeah.
You
So
wanna pull?
I can hold your bag for you if you want, and I'll give you ammunition as you need it. And so what you'll do first is you'll kind of just hang out. There's no rush, and you're waiting for her to maybe sniff off this way. And if you have to, I just kind of float around the room. But once she is away from you, like right here, she's kind of pulling this way. I back away and pull a little bit with the leash. And when she comes to me, I say yes, and I just give her a treat.
Okay.
Okay. This yawning here, stressed out, totally fine. She'd be much more stressed if I had leash. So this is good. So what I do is I just try to float back this way. Yep. I'd pull her towards you. And then as she comes to, now I go back that way. Yep. And I just tug the leash. And when she comes back to you, right there, I'd say yes.
Okay.
And then I'd give her a reward. Do you have treats on you?
No.
Here you go. I'm going to arm you up here.
Tweez okay? Because we already triggered that.
Oh,
at
absolutely.
work.
Yeah. If okay is what you guys have used before, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah. that's-
Okay's our trigger word.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
they
already
already know
there,
it.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No need to change it. Absolutely. Okay.
You see, she wanted to listen to you.
This is good. Very good. Now I just start floating around again. And there's no real rhyme or reason to it. Your whole goal is to just get her to walk away from you. Of course, you have treats, so it might become a little harder. If we have to, we'll just start setting treats on the floor away from you. Here you go. Now I back up towards the teeth. Oh, good. I'd say, okay, there in the water. If she turns and engages before you pull, same thing. I'd mark that. Okay. And I'd reward that too, because now she's choosing to do it. Good job. Even that there, her sitting and waiting, I'd tell her, okay, and I'd reward her again.
Okay.
Good. Here's some more. I'll keep breaking these up for you.
They've got to sit pretty set when there's a treat in your hand.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, very good. Very nice. I'm going to set one on the floor here and see if she'll take it. And this will give you a chance to kind of back up that way there. And I just tug the leash and then right there. Okay. Very nice. That rep there would be a perfect rep.
Okay.
Her being away from me, she feels tension on the leash and she goes, and then I go, okay. And she's like, okay. So she's coming to you because she knows she's about to get paid, you know? So that's very good. Now, she's pretty engaged with you. We can go ahead and move on to the sitting, okay? That's the leash pressure, though. We're going to practice that more. For the sitting, which she's already doing, and of course she has probably learned the sit with the treat before, that's totally fine. What we're going to do is basically build off of that and add it in a new language using the leash. So what I would do is I just tell her, let's go, and I kind of get her walking around. And then when you're ready, I would take the leash and I would just guide it up just a little bit of pressure up. And as you do that, a little bit of a lure too. So it's like I've got the lure in my hand, I've got the leash here, and I just lure her the same way you taught her before, was with a lure, right? So I just literally do that, but you're doing leash pressure at the same time. Does that make sense?
Right.
Should we just go like this and lure her away, or?
Yeah, so like I'd get her up first, I'd just pull her towards you, tell her, let's go. There you go. Now I'd get her with the treat, luring her up into a sit, and take the leash and guide her up at the same time. Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Literally perfect.
Okay, so when she's walking, give her a little
Amen.
this in the sitting.
Amen. Yep. You're pairing that with the lure right now. So now I try to get her up. I just go, yep. Very good.
Sit.
Perfect.
Okay.
Very good. Perfect. Good. Now we'll try that a couple of times. In the beginning here, I wouldn't actually say the word sit, just because we're teaching it to her in a new language. So we're going to kind of put the word back in once we have her doing it with just the leash. Okay?
Okay.
Very good. Guidance up there. Nice. Now you can,
Okay.
Perfect. That was literally perfect right there. Now I just get as many of those as I can. You just take your time. But we're just getting her moving around.
Okay.
Very nice. And you're also working the leash pressure at the same time. Very good.
Okay.
Literally perfect. Once she's done maybe 2 more of those where she's feeling leash pressure and then sitting, we're going to add the word back. This is obviously a pretty smart and a pretty food motivated dog. Very nice. That it really plays to our favor.
I think they had some fundamentals down already.
You can tell, and they look really awesome. It doesn't normally go this fast, know that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, of course.
Yes.
That's super food motivated. I love it.
Okay.
Nice. Literally perfect.
What do we do next?
I just feel a little pressure up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'd add the word sit. So there she did the leash pressure, went to a sit. It's fair of us to add the word with it now. So what I do now is I say sit, then I add the leash pressure. So now I'm going sit, leash pressure. Sit, leash pressure. We're going to get to the point where she hears sit and goes, let me guess, you're going to pull up on the leash. And she does it before we hit the leash pressure. Here's some more.
Come on.
Good.
Guess we say the word and then pull.
Amen.
Sit.
And then we'll work.
Okay.
Literally perfect. Good. Very nice. Very good.
So give us my hand.
Sit.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Perfect. This is good stuff right here.
Come on.
Nice use of the leash. So now you're working with her
Sit.
leash pressure towards you and up. It's like perfect. Very good. Okay, so now we figured we can get her into the sit. Now we have to teach her how to stay there, okay? So what we'll do now is, and this is where the patient part might begin, we're going to see. We want her to understand that she can't leave that spot, and she has to do that on her own choosing. So what we'll do is now we've got her in the sit. Let's say I'm you, I've got her sitting right here. I just take the leash and I just slowly start to feed out just a little bit because she's already staying while you're staying with her, which is perfect. I start to see what will get her up. What if I move this far away? Whenever I get to a spot where she gets up, I'll mark that with no. Anything we don't want, we're going to say no. And this will be the jumping and everything later too. But we're introducing the idea of no, and then we're putting you back when we say no. So if she's in her sit like she is right now, and you back up and she goes, oh, I'm following you. At that point I would go, no. And I would literally take her right back with the leash and I would go, sit. And I just put her back, okay? So our goal now is kind of setting her up to see if she will get up. If she lays down, I would say okay and reward her. Very good.
I mean, they're pretty good at weight too.
Oh,
They've
this
waited a long time.
No, this is fantastic. I would just walk around. I wouldn't pull on the leash, but I just walk around, see if she gets up.
Do we ever
Very
let
good.
go?
Yeah, you let go. She stays there. It's perfect. This is fantastic. Easiest first session ever.
Yeah, we worked on this.
Wow,
pretty
y'all
much,
done really good
Yeah,
with this.
at breakfast time, if you give them something good, they've waited 30 minutes.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, y'all have really done a nice job. Wow. I'd come back and I'd reward her. That's really impressive. Nice job. Yeah.
They've torn up a lot of stuff in the past month.
Okay.
Good job.
Like they did have 2 of these beds. One bed was destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah, we took them out of their crate.
'Cause, yeah,
We
we
got
had the
those
wire
in
crate.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we took apart the wire crates that are in the garage. And
Okay.
those were in there. And they already tore one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she currently won't go to the crate, right?
No.
Okay. That's something we're going to be working on as well. And that's our big focus with her. Okay. Well, next what I do is I'd have her just stay in a sit. And then I'd literally just have her in a sit and we're just moving around, walking around, and see if she gets up at all. We kind of want her to get up at least once so we can show her, I'm going to bring you back. If she doesn't get up, so be it. At some point during your homework, hopefully she does.
Yeah.
But there you
No.
go. Nice. Literally
Okay.
perfect. Good job. That was good. Maybe it's like, ooh, thought about it. That was a good decision there. Now I need to go back and reward her for that because she chose to stay. Very nice. Good job. There, no.
Sit.
Good.
Okay.
Very nice. Good use of the leash. I use the leash every time they get up. That way there's some means of correction for them. I get up, they're going to put me back every time. Really nice dog though. And it's good for her sister to be in the crate right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
she's
you know she's jealous.
she's on that.
Seriously.
Very nice. And I just come back and reward her again. Sorry, I've been slacking on the treats. Sorry. Very nice.
No.
Nice. Now I just walk her right back over
Okay.
here. And I just take her, I tell her, let's go. And I just guide her right over here. And then I just tell her, yep, sit.
Sit.
This is an important thing to note, taking them right back to wherever it happened.
Okay.
Then they'll start accepting. There's no point of following them because I didn't even get an inch. He literally walked me all the way back. Being petty with them really pays off.
Not even one last class.
Not even, amen, exactly. And mentally, the standard for them will get higher and higher, and we're asking more of them. Then when we do put them in the crate, there's nothing left. They literally go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good challenge. Walking around is awesome.
Yeah, she doesn't like anyone going behind her.
Yeah,
She's
oh,
in her,
that's good to know.
her
Then.
weight. Well, it's not like she doesn't like, she just wants to know where the food's going.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you know?
This was really good.
Yeah, she knows there's food around, so she's...
And we will fade the food out and switch it to praise.
Mm-hmm.
She is in a really good place for, you know, beginning training. She looks really great. Y'all done awesome with her.
Okay.
Good.
Sit.
Very nice. Now, does she know down currently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now it's visual.
Okay.
You do.
Very nice. That makes our job even easier.
So we
So
just
this is
gotta...
like our sit and then.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's going to make this even easier. We normally won't go into the down right now, but we're not going to just sit here and look at her. We could go into the down if she's doing this
Yeah.
well. So I'll tell you how I work on the down next. As of now, the things I'd be working on with her, you know, this week would be giving her the word sit. If she doesn't sit, giving her the leash guidance, and then doing different things, literally putting her in a sit while I'm making food, eating food, doing anything. Anything that I think may get her up. And then I go, no, from wherever I'm at, walk all the way back, I get her leash, and I take her right back to where she was, and then I go sit, and I put her right back where she left.
Okay.
So the sit stay is what I'd be practicing, that's that. I don't say stay, I just say sit. And then if they leave, I always bring them back. And they start accepting that sit means don't leave.
Okay.
What you want her to start doing is laying down. You literally leave and she goes, well, they're not coming back for a while and I can't leave. When she starts laying down on her own, then you know she's accepted, she can't leave. Okay?
So basically when we go upstairs to like get ready or something, we should have them just like sit here. Don't let them come upstairs and...
Well, ideally, if you have a way to watch. I
Gotcha.
set up a
Yeah, that's
FaceTime. I set up a FaceTime with Ashley's phone all the time. So you can FaceTime each other and literally watch the dog as you go up the stairs. Because it looks like she won't break for much down here. So you walk up the stairs and you're watching on the phone as soon as she gets up. Doop, 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 doop. Nope, walk her right back. Then she'll start going, man, they've got eyes everywhere. But,
How do they know?
exactly, but she'll truly believe you mean what you say, you know?
Okay.
Now, the way I start teaching the down, you've already got her downing with leash guide, or with physical guidance of your hand is really good. Now I literally add the leash guidance with that the same way we do with the sit. So it's like I'd start doing a little bit of guidance down on the leash as I lowered her down. Very
Lay down.
nice. Good job. It's fantastic. She already knows these things, you know, so it makes it really easy.
We're out of tricks now, so everything else out there.
Okay, that's good to know.
As far as we got.
She's really impressive, you know, like really nice, especially for me sitting in here. It's my first time here. Got some more for you there. Now we'll do the same thing. That was really good. Leave it up there. We'll do the same thing with the down.
No.
Nice
Okay.
use of the leash. Very good. So now we've got two things to work on. The sit, stay, and the down. She already knows down, so our goal is to get her to do it with the leash. So what I would do next is I would get her up, and then I'd give her a sit, and I wouldn't pull the leash at all at once you tell her sit, and we'll see if she sits. So I just tell her sit.
Sit.
Nice.
Oh, no pulling.
That's all right. That's all right. That's fine. Now I'd reward her. She looks
Okay.
perfect. I'd literally just tell her, let's go, and I'd get her up again. We're seeing if she'll do it without the leash, but then we'll add it if we need to. And then we'll do the same thing with down.
She's still watching that one piece on the ground.
Right. She's got a good memory.
Sit.
Waiting. Nice.
Okay.
Literally perfect on the reward. Now I try saying down with no gesture, but I'd honestly take your foot there and just pull down on the leash a little bit. Yep, down. Good. Now just tell her down that you normally would.
Lay down.
Yep, and now I'd add a little bit of that guidance with your hand. Now I'd put her right back, sit.
Sit.
Nice. And I'd go right back to, that's all right, that's all right. Now what I do is I get her right back to where you had her and I tell her sit.
Sit.
Good, now I just give this just a second. Yep, I get her moving again, and I want to bring her right back over there. She got a little weirded out by you using your foot there, but that's totally fine. We found something that she's uncomfortable with. We should work her through it, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll just take our time here. Now I just have her sit for a second, and I just slowly work her right back over there. That's all right. Now we found something that she's uncomfortable with, him lifting his foot, which is nothing invasive, you know. We're not going to do it again. However, we do want her to understand that she can't just go into this fearful, frightful, running state of mind when she's uncomfortable. Because then we get her outside and she gets uncomfortable at, let's say it's a garbage can falling. She is used to darting. So we set up her wanting to dart, if you will, in a nice environment like this. And then we literally just work her back and teach her, like, there's nothing to be scared of. It's my foot, you know.
Yeah.
But so what we're doing now is I just slowly try to get her back over there. I guide her a little. I maybe lure her with the tree. I'd even crouch down a bit. Yep. I'd reward her. Very nice. And then I'd give her a sit. Very nice. Good. Very nice. Now we'll just leave her here for just a second. No rush. Kind of think of a bottle of soda that's been shaken up a little bit. We're just going to let her come down a minute before we try it again.
Because that's like the biggest thing, like doing things like that. Right?
Yeah.
She's
well, it's
very
good.
skittish.
Yeah, and it's good for us to find these triggers, if you will. I have a lot of dogs who come for a boarding train, and I have no idea they do something like this, or they're weirded out by certain things falling off of shelves, whatever it is. Then I knock an e-collar remote off of a shelf, and the dog's like running for the fences. And I'm like, I didn't know that was a trigger.
Yeah.
I literally would start setting it up. For this, we'll set it up over time. Right now, we'll come back to it. We'll do it with a little bit less pressure mentally. I would start it with my hand instead of the foot and get her used to doing leash pressure, and then we'll go back to using our foot eventually. So what I would do next is I would just pull down on the leash first, just a little, as you say down.
Now?
Yep, and then yeah, literally perfect. Okay. Good job. Our goal there was to get her to go into a down, especially after getting a little bit of a weird vibe with it. We want to end it on a good note in her laying down. So we just kind of took the foot. Now this will be good. So she's gotten back up. This is our chance to tell her you can't leave though. So I just take my hand and I just pull on the leash a little and I lower it down. Yep. Nice. And now I leave her right there. This is what we want right here. We're putting a little bit of pressure on her because she ultimately wants to get up. You see how these hips are squared off? She's waiting to jump back up, you know? So mentally, she definitely knows the down, and a lot of dogs do, but then there's the, well, I don't have to stay here, do I? You know, I'd much rather get up and go smell that or whatever. So we kind of find what are her thresholds with down now, too. So far, she's doing fantastic. I'd reward her again. You have treats, sorry.
Okay.
Very nice.
There's the light cat.
Wow. I love that there's...
Yeah, he wants a piece too.
Oh, really?
He will eat.
He knows what's going on here.
He shares everything with them.
Excuse me. Okay. Now what I would do, she looks perfect. I'd reward her again, and then I would get her up again.
Sit.
Nice. Good job. Very good. Good. Questions so far? We kind of move pretty fast because there's a gas tank in her head that just slowly gets to eat. When it gets on empty, I like to be finishing with the dog in a nice relaxed down where the hips are to the side, you know?
No.
So we're working her up to that. But we don't want to get to that point too early. Like, we have to keep a good gauge on her because if she gets too tired and we're dragging her through the training, she might not enjoy the training anymore. So we just walk a fine balance of having her listen to us, she kind of has to do it, but also not dragging her too far. Now here I just tell her sit. Nice. Great use of the no, great use of the leash. Perfect.
So for like how long, like actually should we keep trying to get them to stay in play? Like how long should we keep the training going?
Good question.
Versus let them play on the couch?
Good question. I try to do 2 versus 1. I give them about twice as much training as I do free time, if you will. Now, when they're just relaxing around the house, if they right now just relax around, that's just as well. If they were pacing and stuff, are they pacing?
No, they literally will, she sleeps on that ottoman all times.
So yeah.
And Zola.
Yeah, I'd say since before you came here, they're outside for 20 minutes and the rest of the time they're sleeping.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry too much about any crazy structure, you know, if they're choosing to relax. It's different when the dog literally is constantly pacing and it doesn't know how to relax on its own. So ultimately I would do sessions like like right now, we're going to train a little bit longer than you normally would because we have a certain amount of stuff to cover. But right here, she lays down. I tell her, okay, in order. But this is us letting her lay down on her own right now. But ultimately, maybe 15 minutes at a time. And I do that 2-3 times a day, maybe 4, depending on how food motivated the dog is too. If I train them with the food and they won't take the food, which I don't think you'll have that problem, using these treats is fantastic. If they weren't, I would just keep trying and then I'd try again the next session. You could definitely take some of the kibble that she's currently not eating and maybe mix some of it in with this and trick her into eating her daily meals until we get her to go to that crate, that way she is eating her kibble and you have even more payment, a cup of food, so. Does that answer your question? About 15 minutes at a time, 3 or 4 times a day.
That sounds, that's reasonable.
Yeah. Other than that, once they learn place, which we'll cover that next week, then at that point you'll want to leave them in place for an hour to 3 at a time. And that's them having to stay there, and then when they hear something or something's going on, they're not getting up and investigating, they're just staying in place. We introduce that next week once we have a pretty solid sit and down, which I think you'll be pretty good with next week. This looks good. I will order again. Now we're just gonna work back into the down again. I'll just take the leash and just tug on it just a little as I say down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Very good. Now the hips are going over to the side. You see the gas tank's coming down a little bit. She's calming down a little. Really good to note about the foot thing though. I've met a few dogs like that.
Well, it's really, once anything gets to her head level, if it's not a hand,
yeah.
She doesn't like
Collars, is she interested with the collars?
She's fine with going over her like that. It's just if you were to pick up even the snake or something, just walk over her.
She doesn't like it being over top.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
I think what happened was when she was a puppy, we were playing cornhole.
Classic.
And she happened to run by and it hit her in the head ever since then.
She said, you didn't get me ever again with something on my head.
Yep.
Here's some more. That's awesome.
I think that's what kind of happened.
She's doing good. I reward her again. Well, she's got a good memory.
Yeah.
She looks fantastic. This is good. Very nice. Now what I do is I just try dropping the leash and walking around. We'll see if she gets up. And if she does, this will be our chance to show her you can't leave the down. I love it. Such a great distraction. Love it. I reward her. She looks really good. You'll see through these sessions, they'll start getting tired really fast and they'll sleep even more. And it's just because mentally we're working them and challenging them. Because ultimately when you walk away, she wants to follow you. She has that impulse and she's choosing to stay. So it's good for her. We'll slowly up that challenge. We'll ask this of her out in the backyard and do it in more challenging places. But if this is our starting line, really great place to be starting. She looks really good. Her eyes are already getting heavy, which is great.
She sleeps a lot.
Yeah. I love it. Nice dog, man.
So yeah, they're pretty easy going. Do they when we come home from work, they come for 20 minutes outside?
Yes.
We'll go back and sleep.
Yeah.
We'll kick a ball around and then they'll literally look at us and they'll run to the door and be like, we're going inside.
I gotta really get to bed.
Well, it's tiring eating everything all day.
Yeah, that's true.
Seriously. Yeah. This looks good.
Good girl.
Very nice. Now I'm curious. I would just try, taking her over towards the kennel there, and I'd just show her that you're putting a couple of treats in there. I've got some more here if you want, and just see how she responds to that. I'm sure she's gonna try to slip back out of the collar, but see how close you could get her to eat a treat near the crate first. Yeah. So I'd start. So she's there. Very well. Yep. Okay. Now what I would do is I would just present it to her where she's at, and if she eats it, I'd let her eat it. So I just put it out to her, and if she goes for it, I'd let her eat it. Okay.
Good girl.
Good.
It might be hard for her to get in with me here.
Good rush. All we're doing right now is getting her to kind of calm down, even near the crate. You can see as soon as she got near it, you start to stretch. This is fine. Even lying down here is fine. One way she's putting on the brakes, but at the same time she's not running. Good step in the right direction. Her eating this close to the crate is really good. A lot of dogs, when they're under stress, won't eat. So she's not too stressed out to still take some treats. Very nice. Now I try even putting them on the ground up towards the kennel there and see if she goes for them at all.
Okay.
Great idea. That's really nice. Yeah, you get her there. Now I'd put one on the plastic there. But we're just showing her like the world's not ending. Look how close you are. Nice. I just hang out here. Really nice. I put another one there. Really good. I got more for
Okay. She didn't even eat the other one. So
Okay.
If Ellen once gets past that ledge, she's like, nope.
Yep. That's good. Now I just hang out here for just a second. We're gonna see if she tries running off. It's really good though. Now I'll tell you something we could do since you've got that crate. It's literally perfect. We can take the top off of that crate. I've done it with these crates. You take the top off of it.
No.
Yeah. Now this is good. Yeah. Now I just try to get her to go into a down.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I just pair a little bit of pressure on the leash. Now, this is where it begins to get patient. I keep that pressure right where it's at, and I'll give her every few seconds. I'll try to lure her into a down. I'll tell her down, but ultimately, I won't really want to leave here until she lays down. Nice, nice.
Good girl.
Good. And I just continue her hanging out there. It's great. But it's like we're hitting two birds with one stone while I'm explaining something to you. Her working on her down stay and being near the crate is good. Very nice. Now just tell her down.
Down.
Nicely done. Look at the hips going even deeper this time. Really good. Even getting her relaxing in the vicinity of the crate, really good step. But yeah, we'll take the top off of the crate there, and then you take the top off and you have the bottom, and a lot of dogs will go into the bottom of it. It's a little less intimidating. Here we go. Yep, now tell her down.
Down.
Good. And I slowly pull the leash back towards you and down. Yep, and kind of bring her back that direction. There we go. And I tell her down.
Down.
Nicely done. And the hip should come off this way. Now just wait there. Very good. It's good to see where we're at. Get it right. Her accepting it. This is good. It's nice to know where we're starting, you know. We saw how she was at the house with the impact crate. She's like, oh my god. And of course, like I said, I was handling her. So she's like, I don't know you anyway. So here, we're able to get her up to the crate, which is a close step. I would say that we work on her confidence with working on the sit stay, the down stay, and then ultimately working on leash pressure, which in a second we're going to work on the heel. But then next week we would put her into that crate. I would take the top off of it this week, which we could do that here in a few minutes. But I would take the top off of it if you're okay with that. It's kind of frustrating to have to take all those out, but we'd get her in there, and she wouldn't be like.
I think space is
Exactly. So you just make it like step by step, like we're doing now. Okay, well, we get in at just the bottom without the top, which she will. We could get her in there, and then once she gets in there, we just do that a few reps, and then we put the top on. Walk her up to it with the top. If you have to, I do everything by myself, but if I had somebody, which we have each other, you can literally have the top lifted halfway off. I had it tied back with a leash, but that way it's still open and it's not as intimidating to the dog. So if we even have to work up to starting with the top off and then the top literally halfway down, we'll do that too. But the goal is to get her in there without necessarily having to like throw her in there.
Yeah.
Because honestly, imagine if you were scared of something and you just got thrown into it.
And then door closed.
Exactly. Yeah. Your mentality of it is really challenging to have a good association with. So I've learned that if I can get them in here this way that we're talking about, I will exhaust all those options first. Don't get me wrong, there's some dogs where we literally just go, you have to go in. It's 11 o'clock at night, we've been training all day, we've worked on this. But at some point she may choose not to go in, even after she goes in successfully. That would also be a time where we're going to go, oh no, you're going in. You've done it before.
Yeah.
But the initial getting in, I like to try to get the dog to do it on their own, if possible. She looks really good laying here.
What she's good at.
Yeah, she's like, I love this. Okay, so now what I do is I start introducing to the idea of heeling with me and walking next to me. So what I would do is, which side do you want to have her on?
What do you prefer?
Her on my left.
Okay, so she'll be on the left.
Right.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'll take the, ooh, here we go. I just tell her down.
Yeah.
Nice. A lot less pushback on that down. It is because she's getting tired too. We'll use that to our favor though. Very good. Now what I do when I'm teaching this heel, she already has a really basic understanding of leash pressure. She doesn't really oppose to the leash pressure. She doesn't like pull away from it much. So what I would do is I just take the leash and I'd have maybe about 6 inches to a foot of leash from my hand down to the collar. The rest of it I would just fold up. So I've got a little bit of leash here, and I would just tell her, heel, and I'd start walking. And each time she gets ahead of me or off to the side, I just give her a little tug of leash back into position, and I say heel.
Okay.
Our goal is to get her walking around. I kind of do like figure eights almost. I'm just walking into her, walking away from her.
You said left, right? Yeah, I dropped that. You can pick it up.
She doesn't miss any. She's doing great. It's a nice dog. And this will give us a chance to work on the sit too. Good. Now I just tell her heel. And then if we have to, I have that other collar if we need it, if she starts to put the brakes on or anything crazy. Very good.
Heel.
Yeah.
No, I'll just. So
Good.
once you start getting close to the crate, she was just.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
Yeah. So you see her pulling back here and trying to slip out of this?
So you can take
Okay.
that collar, Brian.
This is what we want to train through right here. Though. This is what I want to work. Like I want to take the leash and work her right now, you know. But it'd be better if y'all did it because she's giving you pushback, and she'll give me a lot more, you know. So what we'll do though, I've got that other collar. I'm going to put it on. The reason I use this collar is dogs literally act like this all the time, where they get to a certain point where they're like, either I don't want to work anymore, I don't want to walk, I don't want to walk near the crate, whatever it is. This collar is ultimately, they're not going to slip out of it. So we'll just put that on her real quick.
You want to try?
I want to start taking out the screws. I was going to start taking out the screws.
I'll get it. It's okay.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll loosen this and I'll let you put it on her. And it's also wider. Let's see if that fits there. I'll pass it to you. I can loosen it if needed. Yeah, I'll loosen it up for you.
You're a thick girl.
But this will be good because we're kind of getting into what we need to do, which is stuff she may not want to do.
But
She kind of has to, like going in the crate. So her walking for us is, you know, a good place to start. Very nice. Okay. This will be good. All right.
Okay.
Good job.
You don't like it? That's okay.
That's all right. And that's not uncommon once you get to a point like, all right, I'm not taking the treats anymore. Yeah. And give her, yeah, that's perfect on the leash. And now your goal is to kind of walking around, and as you turn into her, just kind of pull her away from you a little bit. And then as you turn away from her, just kind of pull her towards you a little. And you want her to get used to getting out of your way when you step into her and following you as you turn away. The goal is there to not be really an intention in the leash. And if she gets out of position, you just pop the leash towards you a bit. This looks good. Imagine there's a line going through your hips, and if she goes past that, I'd give her a little pop back, and I would tell her heel. Nice. Know that you can mix the sit in now at any point you wanted to. You can just, nice. Good job.
You just get her.
Yep, now I tell her sit.
Sit.
Good. Nice use of the leash. I'd keep it right where it's at.
You just wait
Now,
until she does it.
I was going to say, I'd wait till she does it, and I'd take your right hand, and I'd take the leash out of that hand, I'd use my left hand and push down on her backside a bit, and tell her sit.
Sit.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. Totally fine and totally normal for her not to take the reward right now. She's a little over it, and that's fine. Now what I do is I just tell her, heel.
Heel.
Good. I just start walking, and then she's coming with you. I just take off. Yep, we're going. There we go. We need to get her used to the idea that she's not just going to put the brakes on and slip out like once I say heel and walk. Now I give her a sit. Sit. Nice. Very nice. Nice. Good. Very good. Now just take off. Yeah, that is so good for her. Yeah. That's so satisfying. I have that conversation literally daily with the dog though. Like, I don't want to. But she's a strong dog. We don't want her to think she could, just use her muscle against us and not get what she wants. Really nice. Good girl. Very nice. Good. Now what I do is I just put her in a sit right in the middle of the room here.
Sit.
And now I just drop the leash and walk away. Let's see what she does. Get ready. Thought about it. Remember, if she lays down, that's what we want. Ultimately, we're literally just setting up this scenario over and over, the sit, stay. She's understanding that she gets up, we're going to bring you back with no. I walk her all the way back and I go sit. And I put her back. If she lays down, I come back and tell her I love her. I'll come pet her, I'll come give her a treat. But she starts figuring out pretty quickly, get up out of the sit, get brought back, don't get anything. Don't give her a reward or anything. Lay down, they come and tell me they love me and they pay me with a reward. I'm going to lay down all day, you know? Which we know she likes to lay down anyhow. This panting we have now is fantastic. Mentally she's working, physically she's been working hard. So it's good for her to be working this hard. She will sleep really well. But this is a good pant.
That's meant to be.
Here you go.
Give it some?
Yep. Now we'll see if she follows you when you leave here. Really nice. Look who's scanning the area for the down, thinking about it. Really good. Now what I do is I go up, and you know when you pick up this leash, she's like, oh, we're getting ready to go. And I go down. And I put her into a down. I give her a little guidance with the leash as I tell her with my hand, yep.
Down.
Right. And then I keep it right where you got it. And then now I add that physical lure with the other hand.
Down.
Yep. Now this is good. Good job. Really good. And now see if she follows you when you leave here. Be really curious to see. Oh, the hips going over is a great choice because she's going, well, I might as well get comfy. He's not going to let me leave. Really good. And her eyes are just getting heavier, you know, and it's so fantastic. Good job. Because it's like, mentally, it's so good for them. You know, a lot of people are like, I walk my dog all day, it never gets tired. But this right here is better than any walk you could do, you know? Very nice. I would reward her again. She looks good. Great for her sister. Right now, that's literally like withdrawals coming out of her.
Yeah.
She needs this. It's so good for her.
I think, yeah.
Very good.
She can't leave.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's the problem.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. And then when the shoe is on the other foot, she's probably like, have at it.
Yeah, right? Girl, can I go into the crate?
Yeah, seriously. Yes. And this is the thing, too, on that note. I kind of tricked them into enjoying the crate because once we do get her in there, and she goes to sleep, which she's going to be so tired, she has really nothing left. She goes to sleep, she's going to wake up and be like, wow, this feels pretty nice resting in here. And she'll start enjoying the crate and seeing it as a place to go and rest, and we're not going to work you while you're in there.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, like, obviously when they're not in the crate, should we just leave it open so they have a chance to
Oh,
be in there all the
absolutely.
time?
Yeah, absolutely. And you could even leave a little bowl of water in there if you wanted to, or
Okay.
food. Something enticing that they would enjoy. This looks perfect. Very nice.
That was our other question. So when we do build up to let them stay in the crate during work, should we put water in there?
Ooh, good question. I don't leave anything at all in there.
Okay.
Reason being, it'll turn into either a toy or something to chew. Even a metal bowl. I've watched dogs on the camera. I mean, huskies usually, but dogs that literally will take the bowl, and the whole time you're gone, they're just throwing the bowl and slamming it, and they're not relaxing at all.
Yeah.
So I found that taking everything out is really helpful. In the morning, I may like do their potty break and some training, and I'll throw them in the crate with water and food, but right before I leave, I take it out. Good question. I don't leave any bedding in there either. This is good.
Well, Sloan was on top, so
Oh, really?
they're gonna have to get used to that.
Yeah. There's no better time for that one to be in the crate though than like while you're training your sister. It's really good for both of them. This looks perfect.
And when we tried training Zola this week,
Yeah.
without Alice, how should we, since she won't go in the crate,
Well,
should we
good
put her
question.
outside?
Our goal is to get her into that crate. If at that point we don't have her going into the crate, we could probably put her outside, or what we could do honestly is one of us have the leash and have her down like she's doing while the other person is working, her sister.
Okay.
Ideally, we have her in the crate, but there's no rush to get her into the crate either. You know, so if we don't have her in the crate yet, I would have her on a leash doing a down while her sister's working.
Okay. And when we do get them both into the crates, and I don't think we should, because we work, what, 12 hours a day?
Yeah.
Well, we're gone from, we're gone from 6 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 6:30 to 5.
Okay.
So like, do we just, like, how do we start? Do we just go ahead and throw them in there for that long?
That's a good question.
Or do we have to try to do it
Ideally,
weekend?
I started at night. If you could get them crating at night first, the daytime is really easy. So you do like today is a perfect example. I train sessions like this 3 or 4 times throughout the day. And then in the evening when I put that dog in the crate, it's so tired. It goes in the crate, goes right to sleep. I now have tricked that dog into doing 7 hours straight in the crate. It's something it didn't think it could do before, you know? So the next morning when I come and get it out of the crate, it's now done 7 straight. There's no reason it can't do 7 during the day. It's just we're not asleep, we're gone.
Yeah.
It's mental. That's all right, I'll just bring her back. So yeah, to answer your question, I'd start at night. And then I would work up to the Yeah. Nice job. Good.
Ella's getting worked up by all that sound.
Oh yeah.
Sit. Down.
So this is why it's good that we're training both, because we'll be able to control that and correct it, and we'll be able to control her feeding off of it, because you can see her feeding off of it too, you know? That was perfect, bringing her back. Very good. But yeah, ultimately you want to get them up to doing it at night first, then during the day maybe start with, on a weekend like you said, an hour, a few hours, and you're watching on a camera from literally out in your car or out by the pool or whatever. That way, if they are trying to escape, you can monitor it and watch and make sure that the crate is holding them and they can't get out. And it'll give you that peace of mind of knowing, okay, well they didn't get out.
Yeah.
So I would kind of work my way up to doing that. You could do the same thing for at night. You know, my experience I'm speaking on, I mean, when the dog goes in there after training all day, you don't get much pushback. And it being at night, you could hear them if they were trying to escape, in theory. But if you felt more comfortable, you could start on the weekends first. Like this, perfect start.
Okay.
Perfect start like this. And then get them up to doing an hour to 3 hours to 5 hours while you're living your life around here. And then same thing. Start within the crate and you not being in here at night for an hour and you're upstairs FaceTiming first.
Okay.
That's the safest way, I think. Good questions.
And so like if they are crying, so we bought the bark collars.
Oh yeah,
So
perfect.
if they're in there crying for like how long do we leave them
Ooh,
there at
good
night
question.
versus taking them out?
Good question. I make sure all tanks are empty before I put them in bed. Mental tank, I've worked them all day. And then bladder and poop, of course, same thing. I took them out to potty and they haven't eaten or drank in the last 30 minutes to an hour or so. Then I put them in there. There's no reason they should have to come out.
Yeah.
They are going to want to come out.
That's
the tough part. So ultimately what I do is, I mean, right now the way we're setting it up, you've got one out, one in the crate. You could do that while you're training, and then you could have them both in their crates. I would put their bark collars on. That way if they bark, they get corrected. You'll see a lot of times when the dog's not allowed to bark, they literally go, whoop, and they stop. There still may be this whining. I don't get them out because they're whining though. You can't correct the whining yet. You have to wait about a week. Once we layer in the e-collar, we could literally be sitting here right now and every time there was a whine, we could go, correction, and it would stop. I like to teach the dog how to relax outside of the crate before I correct them for not relaxing inside of it, if that makes sense. So ultimately, to answer your question, I start with, 30 minutes, an hour at a time. I take them out when it's like this. See how it's quiet right now?
Yeah.
I go there and open the crate. When I open the crate though, and I'm going to show you this, I start to open it, and if they try to barge out of the crate, I slam it right in their face. And I get them to the point where I start to open the crate, and they're like waiting to come out.
like can I?
Exactly. And then I go, let's go, or okay, and they can come out. But you don't want them like hair on fire as soon as you start to open the crate, sprinting by. That's not the state of mind you want them coming out in, because they'll probably go in there in the same way. So I literally have them coming out, waiting for permission. I start to open it, little nose is coming out, just pop the crate door shut. You can say no, shut the door. Shut the door. It'll get to the point within a couple of times, and if it's not, you're not shutting the door hard enough or swift enough. It'll get to the point within a couple of times where I open the door and the dog's literally like, and then I go, okay, and I take them out. Good questions. I'm going to start unscrewing this here, and we can start working into that next with her. And I think that would be our next thing to work on with her, just because we've introduced the down, the stay, the sit stay. I've showed you a little bit of the healing. I can see her gas tank coming down, so we'll kind of guide her right into where we'd like her.
Whenever you pick this up, she's gonna take a while.
Oh yeah, and we could, we'll probably get her out before we lift it off though. That's a good idea. She's doing really well though. She's a really smart dog.
Can you grab a
Pawsitively.
Yeah, she won't be thrilled when she gets in here. However, it's gonna be good for her to go through it. This is a nice crate. I don't think you should have any issues. You figure this is what they put dogs under a plane in, so
Yeah.
they must have a lot of faith in it. What last? There we go. Okay, now if you want to move her back just a bit, we'll take the top off here.
Sit.
There we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is exciting. I haven't done this in a while. Okay. Now there's a couple of ways to do this depending on how she responds. What I normally do is I will literally have the dog on the leash. She's on your left. I would step right off to the side here and kind of crouch down, and I've got her on that leash there. And I just literally kind of guide her over in here and walk her right on in, Just kind of getting down to her level. See how she feels it out a little? Good. There you go. Good. Now the real work begins. Now you're going to do what I call dancing with her. You're kind of going to be up now at this point. That's all right. You're going to be up at this point, and ultimately you're going to pull leash pressure whichever direction she opposes.
Yeah. Sorry.
There you go. Good.
Good.
Very nice. Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Very patient process, this one. Our goal first is even getting her to touch it, get near it. Like that's great progress right there. So her head broke over the plastic barrier. That's our starting line, if you will. Nicely done.
Good girl.
Very good.
You can get all that stuff you left there.
Good. She's getting, oh, really nice job, man. Yeah, and you just slowly reel her in back there. Good. Now, when she opposes like that, I wouldn't give it. I would just keep the leash where you got it. Yeah, I keep it right there. Now, you see how she's pulling this way? I pull the leash back that way. Yep. There we go. Oh, good job. Look at that good girl. She's like, wow, he speaks excited. Oh, yeah. Sister's so jealous. Good job. That was really nice, man.
You sit in there?
Good job. Great idea. Good job.
Good girl.
Really nice. I'd have her literally just what you're doing now, hanging out in there is a great step. Man, that's
Fun it
awesome.
is in there.
That's really awesome. Yeah, she's got plenty of space in there though.
That's why
That impact crate wouldn't have been big enough.
Yeah.
That's why we just kept looking and looking.
And measuring, I was like,
It's stressful. It's stressful not having the crate right in front of you and going, can you fit in this?
Yeah. And then we couldn't find the tape measures we were using, like, what was it? Because I have like a body tape measure where you can actually put over her, and we were trying to use the other one where you actually measure to build stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, don't get that near me.
Right.
I was like, wait, you're typically ish this long.
Right. This is about right. She's doing really good.
Because she barely fit in the wire container because it was about this size.
Yeah.
Trying to find something similar took a while.
Now what I do is I take the leash and I tell her, let's go, and I bring her right out.
Come on.
Nice. So that was a rep, if you will. The next thing I would do is, our goal is to get you to the point where you can get her in there with just that leash. So I'd walk her up and I'd guide her in there, and you just walk next to it with the leash. Really nice. Really nice. Good girl. And then I'd have her sit again in there.
Sit.
Nice. Oh man, that's fantastic.
Girl.
Really good. Really good.
Let's do it a couple more times.
Yeah. This is a great exercise to be doing with her. Very nice.
Finally have this one.
We're definitely going to pop the top back on after this. Really good. Oh, and now she's just offering up to sit in there. It's really good. She's a smart dog. Nice job.
Not a lot of room to turn around in there.
It's alright.
So,
I would add a word to it and I would tell her crate and then turn leash pressure on after I say crate. Because then when we put the top on, it's going to have a meaning of what we're asking.
great.
Really good. Yes. Good job. Good girl. Now we see her going in there pretty confidently with the leash pressure now. We've added the word crate. We'll do 2 more of you saying the word crate, and then I'm going to grab the top and I'm going to try putting it back on, and we'll just see how she responds.
We'll just use these while she's eating them.
No, absolutely.
A little bit cheaper than the
Right
beef
up.
liver.
Seriously. That's why I started using kibble too. Treats add up.
Yeah. You can the tube bone every time I go to the store, I'm like, well, that was $100.
Yep. Yep.
Can't buy one bone without the other.
Seriously. Yeah.
That's why you can't have a mulligans on the way home.
Yeah. Just really good, man. Her eyes look so much softer too. She's just really nice.
Good girl.
Okay.
Okay, now you'll eat it, huh?
It's a good sign.
Come on.
Now I'm just going to put the top on here. And I just let her walk her up the same exact way you were doing. And I'd say crate as you get there, and I just guide her up on with the leash. If she puts the brakes on, I would try to continue pulling her in there just a bit. And then if she completely fights it, we'll just go back a step.
I'll keep walking together.
Okay, sorry, I should have thought about that.
It took us a minute to put that on. So.
Yeah, we'll just kind of put it in place, if you will. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we get here. It's kind of like gambling, you know, you're really pleased.
Right.
Crate.
Nice. Now I take my arm and literally put it towards the inside of the crate. And I tell her crate.
Crate.
Good. All right. Now what I do is I just do a little bit more pressure with the leash. And I try guiding that left hand into the crate. Crate.
Crate.
Yeah. Okay. Very well. Now I just walk her away. Let's go. I'm going to take the top and lift it up a bit. We know our bench, like where our baseline is right now, she'll go in without the top on.
Mm-hmm.
We have to move forward from that, you know? So I'll just try having this just right here in sight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just starting off step by step. Okay, now try again.
Crate.
Yep, now I got it right in. That was good.
Good girl. Good girl.
She definitely looked at it initially and was like, well, we did it, so that was good.
Good girl.
Very nice.
Good girl.
Now walk her back out. Good. Thank you. There we go.
Well, you came out faster for somebody you never met before than you did when we had family staying.
I tried putting a little bit more pressure on the leash this time. I'm gonna make sure this doesn't fall.
Great.
Really scared.
Yeah, we're gonna take a step back if that was the case. Nice, man.
Good girl.
Really good.
Good girl.
Really nice. Good
Good
job.
girl.
Yeah.
Good
Taking the boot
girl.
too, and I just bring her right back out. Let's go. Really nice. Really nice. I would do a couple of those.
Yeah. I did not see that happening.
I didn't either. I was not super confident it was going to happen today. Always hopeful.
Yeah.
Crate.
Beautifully done.
Good girl.
Beautifully done.
Good girl.
Oh, great job. What a good girl. And I bring her right back out. Really nice, man. Really good step.
You can feel her getting tired.
Oh, yeah.
Good done.
I would finish her in here, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll just put a few of these screws. Do you have that bag left
Yes.
here? I just put a few of them in here, but I would honestly, I would finish with her resting in the crate because you've got her right where we want her.
Okay.
Nice and tired. Oh, wow.
Good girl.
Now what I do is I just pop the leash off and oh, we didn't put the door back on.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put the door back on first. Sorry about that.
One more time.
Yep, one more.
Let me take it so you can put that.
Yeah, take
Oh,
her.
yeah, you're right.
And I'll put that on.
Yeah.
Putting the door on
That
is
was good, though.
a couple extra steps.
Yeah. That was really good progress. Nice.
That's a nice one.
Okay.